State lawmakers currently tackling a pair of controversial topics this month in Harrisburg. And in the Senate, we could soon expect votes on a pair of child sex abuse bills and a possible bailout to keep open 3 Mile Island. Joining us now to discuss what's coming up for senators is Dauphin and Perry County State Senator John DiSanto. Senator, thank you this morning for joining us. I want to talk about first, though, you just had a bill, first bill of the session, Act 1, 2019, signed into law by the governor, where if you're a public employee convicted of a job-related felony, you are not getting your pension anymore. Goodbye. Right. This seems common sense, and it passed unanimously, pretty much. Why did this take so long?
It's hard for me to believe that it's 2019 to get this act passed, but I think that the mellow pension that was returned to him last year was a real catalyst to getting done. Him getting that $245,000 a year pension after serving 6 years for a felony was just egregious. The
big topic right now is what to do about 3 Mile Island, set to close in September. Right. Are you in favor of a bailout, yes or no?
I'm concerned with the communities that within my jurisdiction that are going to lose their tax revenue. So I proposed legislation that would replace their tax revenue on a sliding scale from year one, 80, year two, 60, 40, and so on. I don't think it's proper to enrich these corporations that are making money. You know, Exelon stocks at a 10-year high. And you know, they're proposing this in a $500 million a year bailout, but only willing to keep 3 Mile Island open for 6 years. That's $3 billion that ratepayers are going to have to pay. So no, I am not in favor of the bailout.
Not in favor of the bailout as is because of why? Because taxpayers would be burdened with it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's essentially a tax increase, but it's a rate increase. And they are also trying to move nuclear power from the base load to the alternative side and getting a guaranteed market share for nuclear power. And you know, we deregulated electric under the Ridge administration, and now nuclear is trying to re-regulate it again.
So with your plan, your proposed bill that would help these communities, who then would pay for that?
Well, this would come out of the general fund through the Department of Community and Economic Development, but my cost for that at $2 million a year over 6 years is $12 million as opposed to $3 billion. So I think it's a much better deal for taxpayers. And I think the key here is that we need to try to make Pennsylvania more business friendly. We have to reduce the corporate net income tax, eliminate the stock franchise tax, deregulation. You know, there's no, in this discussion, D&H Distributing is moving some of their operations in there, which will help into Derry Township, which will help absorb some of these job losses in a sense. But Harrisburg's losing jobs. And in fact, Rite Aid announced a layoff of 400 people. And what are we supposed to do? Raise the prices of prescription and charge seniors more to help eliminate that hardship? But you know, companies are always rising and falling in America, and it's just a process we have to go through.
Once again, TMI right now scheduled, if these bailout bills do not go through, would be scheduled to close in September. I want to switch gears to the child sex abuse bills that the Senate now has. The House overwhelmingly for the third straight session passed these child sex abuse bills, which the Senate didn't get a chance last session to vote on. What do you think of the current incarnation of these bills? Now 2 bills, one of which would change the state's constitution.
Well, I think you have to keep in mind that Senator Scarnati developed a bill 3 years ago and sent it to the House, and the House never did anything with it. And it's essentially now the same bill that is coming over. There's 2 bills, one that's addressing the grand jury recommendations, and I think everybody's in support of that. It's eliminating the statute of limitations moving forward. It permits you to extend your age from 30 to 50 to make a claim, and the other 2 recommendations.
This would be the retroactive window, which is the
well, that's a separate bill,
right? And that's the one that has been the holdup in all this. How do you feel about going about this path, which would change the state's constitution?
You know, it's still unclear to me. We'll have to see if the Senate takes it up quickly, because I think if this bill is directed that it is that eliminates the statute of limitations for everybody all the time, not just singling out one entity, I think it'll be hard not to support that bill. The last time it came over, as you may recall, they had two different levels of liability there. The public employees had a higher level of proof as opposed to private. And I just felt that was egregious. To me, it was just government taking care of its own people again to the detriment of the real victims.
Does the Senate, because the fact that the Senate didn't get a chance to vote on it last session, does the Senate need to put more, and your members like yourself, do you need to put more pressure on Senate leadership to, let's put this to a vote, let's see what's out there?
Absolutely. I believe that we display real leadership when we take up these hard issues and votes, and I think our whole level of democracy would improve if we tackle these tough issues. That's what we're there for.
Senator John DiSanto, representing Dauphin and Perry counties, thank you so much for joining us this
Absolutely.
morning.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back with more Fox 43 Morning News after the break.